story of resurgent and burgeoning Africa is here, only on the Pulse of Africa channel. Pulse of Africa, the face and voice of Africa.
Welcome to Pulse of Africa News. I'm Fran Namak and we are covering inspiring stories and key moments shaping Africa. We will start with the Black Lion Air Show 2026. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has officially opened the Black Lion Air Show 2026, held as part of the celebrations marking the 90th anniversary of the Ethiopian Air Force, organized under the theme, Where the Lions Ruled the Sky. The historic air show showcases Ethiopia's air power, aviation excellence, and long-standing military heritage while highlighting the country's partnership with the international community in advancing global peace and security. The Ethiopian Air Force is one of Africa's oldest air force and has played a pivotal role in defending Ethiopia's sovereignty, supporting national development, and contributing to regional and international peacekeeping missions. Over the decades, it has evolved from a modest force into a modern air power through sustained reforms, training, and technological advancements. The Black Lion Air Show 2026 features aerial demonstrations, aircraft exhibitions, and international participation, reflecting the Air Force's growing operational capability and cooperation with friendly nations. Senior government officials, military leaders, diplomats, and invited guests attended the opening ceremony. The air show forms key part of the week-long anniversary celebration, which ran from January 23 to 27, 2026, commemorating the Air Force's sacrifice and achievements over 9 decades. As Ethiopia marks this milestone, the Ethiopian Air Force has reaffirmed its commitment to professionalism, modernization, and its role in safeguarding national sovereignty, while contributing to peace and stability at the regional and global levels. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed stated that the Ethiopian Air Force is a long-established and resilient institution that is making a significant contribution to peace and stability, not only within Ethiopia, but also globally, particularly across many African countries. The Prime Minister made these remarks today while officially inaugurating an international air show organized to mark the 90th anniversary of the establishment of the Ethiopian Air Force. The air show, which also features participation from United Arab Emirates Air Force, was attended by senior government officials, invited diplomats, and other distinguished guests. The anniversary is being commemorated from January 23 to 27, 2026, highlighting the Air Force's long history, sacrifices, and transformative achievements over 9 decades. On the occasion, Prime Minister Abiy noted that the Ethiopian Air Force has evolved into a stronger institution than ever before, equipped with advanced technology and a high organized professional workforce. He expressed deep appreciation to former Air Force leaders for their contribution to this transformation. He also announced that concrete preparations are underway to double the current capacity of the Air Force within the next 5 years, and that implementation has already begun. Our Air Force is a great institution that throughout its long history and at many critical moments has been a source of national pride and a shield for the country, and has been able to defeat the forces that attempted to attack Ethiopia, he noted. Beyond Ethiopia, the Prime Minister recalled the Air Force's historic role in Africa, particularly during the colonial era, citing its contribution to defending Tanzania's airspace against Portuguese aggression. He emphasized that the Ethiopian Air Force has earned a distinguished reputation by contributing to peacekeeping missions across many African countries alongside special forces and ground troops, making it a vital pillar of continental peace. Prime Minister Abiy further stated that Ethiopia, known for opening its door and working cooperatively with friendly nations, has built the capacity necessary to deter and defeat forces seeking to undermine its national interests. He stressed that there will be no rest in safeguarding this capability. Ethiopia, he said, is not a nation standing still in the past, but one that is working tirelessly with its strength and determination to secure its future. The Ethiopian Air Force, which is one of Africa's earliest established air forces, will continue to set the standard in aerial excellence, Ethiopian Air Force Commander Lieutenant General Yilma Merdasa said today. The Air Force has been a long-standing symbol of national pride, technological advancement, and a steadfast guarantor of regional peace, he added. The 90th founding anniversary of the Air Force that highlights historic achievements of Ethiopian Air Force and its ongoing role in shaping Ethiopia's airspace future is attended by Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, Commander-in-Chief of the Ethiopian Defense Force, and other dignitaries. Speaking at the 90th founding anniversary of the Air Force, Lieutenant General Yilma Merdasa said the Ethiopian Air Force has stood for 90 years as a shield in the sky, protecting our sovereignty, supporting peacekeeping missions, and responding to national challenges. And as one of Africa's earliest established air forces, we will continue to set the standards in aerial excellence, he stressed.
This event is not merely a celebration of years past, but a tribute to 9 decades of dedicated national service, a steadfast aerial guardianship, and unwavering excellency. For 90 years, our Air Force has stood as a shield in the sky, defending Ethiopian sovereignty, supporting peacekeeping mission, responding to national challenges, and responding to Ethiopia as one of the earliest established Air Force on the African continent. At the center of 90 years anniversary celebration and the highlight of our gathering is the Black Lion Air Show, a demonstration of pride and aeronautical master. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we are especially honored by the presence of African Air Force commanders and air chiefs of staff from across Africa and the world, as well as a head of international aviation companies, visitors, exhibitors, friends, and collaborators. Your participation elevates this event into a global platform of unity, collaboration, and a shared airspace destiny. I extend a special thanks to the UAE Air Force and Air Defense for their invaluable support in making this air show possible. Together, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, air shows are not entertainment.
The anniversary was highlighted by the Black Lion Air Show, a spectacular display of precision, skill, and aeronautical innovation. The show not only showcased the Air Force's operational capabilities, but also underscored its role in driving industrial growth, technological advancement, and aerospace innovation. The celebration has attracted African Air Force commanders, chief of staffs, and representatives from global aviation companies and international visitors, reinforcing Ethiopia's position as a hub for collaboration in aerospace. Lieutenant General Yilma also emphasized the broader significance of such events, saying air shows are more than entertainment. They ignite national imagination, inspire the next generation, motivate students to innovate, and showcase our technological capabilities. The anniversary also highlighted Ethiopia's commitment to the future of aerospace development. Furthermore, he noted that aircraft feature is not the show, representing not just operational platforms, but pathways to industrial transformation, joint venture training, infrastructure development, and integration of advanced air capabilities. The 90th anniversary celebration reaffirmed Ethiopian Air Force's enduring mission to honor its past command, the present, and shape the future of Ethiopia and the region.
In Ethiopia, more homes and businesses now have access to electricity. Access to power supports education, healthcare, and local businesses. Light changes lives.
African military officials have described the Ethiopian Air Force as a potential model for other African countries. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed and First Lady Zinash Tayacho officially attended the opening ceremony of Aviation Expo 2026, held as a part of the broader celebrations marking the 90th anniversary of the Ethiopian Air Force. The anniversary is being commemorated from January 23 to 27, 2026, highlighting the Air Force's long history, sacrifices, and transformative achievements over 9 decades. The Aviation Expo 2026, organized within the framework of the 90th anniversary of celebration, brought together defense officials from various African countries who visited Ethiopian Air Force facilities and engaged in discussions on aviation, defense, cooperation, and capacity building. Colonel Mutosi Chelenyani, defense attaché of the Embassy of the Republic of Botswana, said the Ethiopian Air Force has shown remarkable progress across aviation, engineering, and operational capabilities.
The Ethiopian Air Force is really developing. It is really advanced. The avionics, the engineering aspects, and all the aspects of aviation and the industry. The Ethiopian Air Force is doing very well. I have seen a lot of the assets, the air assets that the Ethiopian Air Force has. I've also had the opportunity to visit the maintenance department and even the avionics department. It's very impressive, and what I like most about it is the aspect of self-reliance. I've seen a lot of maintenance of aircraft. I've seen a lot of modification of aircrafts, and even general service and maintenance of aircraft. I've seen that being done by the Ethiopian Air Force, and it's very impressive. So I think the Ethiopian Air Force is actually doing very well and developing very rapidly. I think the Ethiopian Air Force is basically one of the leaders in the industry in Africa. So really appreciate it.
Mackenzie Chivera, defense attaché at the Embassy of Namibia and Ethiopia, also noted that the Ethiopian Air Force is enhancing its own capabilities while contributing to the strengthening of African air forces through collaboration.
First of all, I would like to say thank you for the Ethiopian government for inviting us to this very important occasion of the future of African air forces. What I have seen that Ethiopian Air Force have done in the past, and is also continuing doing, is to enhance the capability of itself and also the African Air Force's capability through the collaboration which they have. With each 90th anniversary, it shows that the Air Force, if you manage it very well, and there is a proper management and cooperation among itself and the different cooperation among different nations, the Air Forces can go far. So this initiative that the Ethiopian Air Force is doing is very much important. It's welcomed by many of us, and Namibia is in cooperation with the Ethiopian Air Force in support of its work that it's doing, especially in terms of aviation.
He explained that cooperation among African states is essential to achieving lasting peace and security on the continent, adding that working in isolation cannot deliver sustainable results. According to him, collaboration in aviation and Air Force operation makes a meaningful contribution, and the Ethiopian Air Force is playing a positive role in advancing peace and security in Africa. Colonel Aristide Angulate, defense attaché of Gabon, similarly praised the progress of Ethiopian Air Force.
As it's my third time to attend this kind of event, and step by step I saw that the Air Force improve the capacity and asset to show their determination to become a big country as Air Force, for a good example for African countries.
He said he observed strong determination within the institution to serve as a valuable asset to the country, and described it as a good example for other African nations, expressing his impressed by what he witnessed during the event. Ethiopia's Troupé Kolfe has made history at the 48th Festival International de Circuit de Monte Carlo, winning the Silver Clown at the first ever for an act in the festival main categories. The Troupé's performance also earned 3 prestigious special prizes: Prix du Fairmont Monte Carlo, Prix Société des Bains de Mer Hotels and Casino, and Prix Special, the Great Wall Cup, awarded by the China Acrobat Association. The actress met with standing ovation from the audience, reflecting the performer's extraordinary talent, discipline, and dedication. Organizers and spectators alike praised the troupe for their innovative and flawless performance. Trainer Bita Kebrom and team member Salomon Tadessa were lauded for their leadership and guidance contributing to the troupe's historic success. This achievement marks a milestone for African circus arts, inspiring performers across the continent to pursue excellence on the world stage. The victory also elevates Ethiopia's presence at one of the most prestigious circus festivals in the world. Moving on to business news, a delegation from the International Monetary Fund is expected in Libreville next month as the Central African country seeks the multilateral lenders help to implement a reform program. Finance Minister Terry Minko told Reuters this week that technical and institutional discussions with the IMF had intensified. An IMF spokesperson said the staff visits in February would assess governance in macroeconomic and fiscal developments and discuss policy and reform plans within the authorities. Governance debt has risen in recent years, hitting 80% of the country's GDP, with fears that the actual figure could be higher. The oil producer has battled a current account deficit since the crude oil price collapsed a decade ago. It has since turned mostly to regional debt markets to plug a budget deficit while implementing an ambitious diversification program to reduce dependency on oil. Headlining on sports news, Benin is set to make sporting history by participating in the Winter Olympics for the first time. The National Olympic and Sports Committee has confirmed the presence of the Eucurelles or Guepardas at the Milan Cortina 2026 edition, breaking a symbolic barrier for the nations in the spotlight of the winter scene. All eyes will be on young skier Nathan Chibezo, the sole representative and flag bearer of the unprecedented expedition. As he takes to the Italian slopes from February 6 to 2022, he will carry the hopes of an entire nation and prove that the passion for skiing knows no boundaries, not even those of the tropics. Let's take a look at the current weather forecast across Africa. Before concluding, I would like to invite you to watch our notable program, which will be airing next. Thank you for tuning in, and goodbye.
They shape history. They inspire generations. They are the notables. Join us as we honor Africa's greatest minds and trailblazers, the notables, celebrating Africa's icons. This week, we honor Wole Soyinka. A pleasure.
This is the Democratic Republic of the Congo, a land the size of Western Europe, blessed with almost unimaginable natural worlds. Beneath its soils lies an estimated $24 trillion in minerals, cobalt for electric cars, coltan for our smartphones, gold, copper, diamond. It is, in the word of economists, a geological scandal. Yet for the 100 million people who called it home, it has been a living purgatory for generations. For 30 years, the Eastern Province have been a theater of continuous conflict, where 120 armed groups, foreign and local, fight for control of mines, lands, and taxes. The UN's largest peacekeeping mission is stationed here, yet violence surges in a cycle that seems endless. This is often called Africa's World War, a conflict that has drawn in 9 neighboring countries and left over 6 million dead since 1996, the deadliest since World War II. The world sees chaos, but if you look closely, you see a system of extraction that dates back to the colonial era. Violence is not an accident here. It is a tool for controlling resources. To understand the system, why a country so rich remains so broken, why peace never takes root, one must look beyond the headlines of militia and ethnic strife. The roots are deeper, older, and profoundly political. They lead back to the very birth of the nation, to a moment of searing hope and brutal betrayal, to the first and only democratically elected Prime Minister of Congo, a man who lasted just 75 days in office before being murdered. His name was Patrice Emery Lumumba. He was 35 years old when he was killed, but in his short, meteoric political life, he articulated a vision that threatened empires. He dreamed not just of a free Congo, but a united Africa, a continent that would command its own destiny. Today, as foreign powers again scramble for Congo's minerals, and as a new generation asks why independence has not brought prosperity, Lumumba's ghost has never been more present. Patrice Lumumba was born in 1925 in Onalua, a village in Kasai province, to a peasant family. He received a modest missionary education, enough to make him literate in a colony where Belgians deliberately kept higher learning from Congolese. By his 20s, he was a postal clerk in Stanleyville, a job that placed him at the nerve center of colonial communication. He read newspapers, letters, and began to understand how power flowed. Lumumba was what the Belgians called an évolué, a civilized native. He wore Western clothes, drank wine, wrote essays. But instead of being grateful for this token of inclusion, he grew angry at this hypocrisy. In 1956, he published a book, Les Congo Terre d'Avenir, which was surprisingly moderate, calling for gradual reform. Yet even then, his intelligence unsettled authorities. After attending a conference in Belgium, he was accused of embezzling post office funds and imprisoned for a year. Prison radicalized him. Upon release, he joined the Mouvement National Congolais, the first truly national multi-ethnic party. His gift was oratory. He spoke not in tribal dialects, but in Lingala, in French, directly to the masses. He talked of dignity, of mental decolonization, of Congo as a single nation. This was revolutionary in a colony Belgium had deliberately divided into hundreds of ethnic fragments. Then, in December 1958 came the catalyst, the All-African People Conference in Accra, Ghana. There, Lumumba met Kwame Nkrumah, the prophet of Pan-Africanism. Nkrumah's message was clear: seek ye first the political kingdom. For Lumumba, the pieces clicked. Congo's independence was not an end. It was a step towards a United States of Africa. He returned home aflame with the dual vision: national liberation and continental unity. It was a vision that would put him on a collision course with history. Independence Day was meant to be a carefully choreographed handover. King Baudouin gave a paternalistic speech praising his ancestor Leopold II for bringing civilization to Congo. He warned the new nation against hasty reforms. The Congolese leadership, including President Joseph Kasavubu, were expected to offer grateful replies. Then, unexpectedly, Prime Minister Patrice Lumumba stepped to the podium. What followed was not a speech of thanks. It was an indictment. For 80 years of colonial rule, Lumumba declared, we have known insults, blows, forced labor, injustices. Our wounds are too fresh for us to erase them from our memory. The whole fell into stunned silence. Boardman's face froze. Diplomats shifted uncomfortably. But across Congo, radios carried his voice to villages and streets where people erupted in cathartic cheers. That speech was a psychological declaration of independence. For the first time, a colonial leader had publicly rejected the colonial narrative on a world stage. It was an act of immense courage and immense danger. The international press called it the speech that set Congo ablaze. Western governments saw a volatile nationalist. But in Africa, Asia, and the diaspora, Lumumba became an instant icon. Here was a leader who spoke the raw truth of colonialism. Yet, within days, the backlash began. Belgium, furious, began covertly supporting the secession of Katanga, the mineral-rich province led by Moise Tozombe. The CIA feared a communist domino authorized his assassination. Lumumba's government was paralyzed. He turned to the Soviet Union for planes and trucks to retake Katanga, a move that sealed his fate in Washington. By September, he was dismissed by President Kasavubu in a constitutional coup. Under house arrest, then imprisoned, he became a prisoner of the very state he had helped create. The dream of a united, sovereign Congo was crumbling before his eyes. Lumumba's assassination was the original sin of modern Congo. It installed a template, resource extraction sustained by political instability. What we see in Eastern Congo today, the militias, the conflict minerals, is the logical, gruesome outcome of the template. The African curse is not a curse, it is a system. And so, Congo became the heart of darkness, not of its own making, but as a result of deliberate international architecture. Lumumba's Pan-African vision was replaced by what scholar Achilles Mimembe calls necropolitics, the power to decide who lives and who dies in the pursuit of resources. His ghost haunted not just Congo, but every African nation where sovereignty was traded for patronage. Today, the cycle continues. Over 70% of the world's cobalt comes from Congo. Much of it's mined in hazardous conditions. Armored groups tax every stage of the supply chain. The Congolese army, often unpaid, colludes or fights them. It is a vicious economy where violence is the currency. International initiatives like the conflict mineral law have had limited effect. Mining simply goes deeper underground or is laundered through neighboring countries. The state remains weak, not because Congolese cannot govern, but because a strong sovereign state would disrupt the global flow of cheap resources. Yet, against this bleak canvas, a new resistance is growing. A generation of Congolese, connected by social media, is rediscovering Lumumba not as a martyr, but as a prophet of economic sovereignty. They are demanding transparency in mining contracts, an end to foreign manipulation, and true ownership of their resources. And so, the battlefield has shifted. It is no longer just about guns and mines, it's about data, contracts, trade deals, and narrative. It is a battle for memory and for the future. Lumumba lost his life in the first battle, but the war for Africa's soul continues.